Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Wally Weasel. And here we are with a rant. Yes, a rant. In case you're not quite certain what a rant is, okay. And in case you're not certain what a Wally Weasel rant is, basically it's a discussion video where I just don't do that much research. It's just off the cuff because it is something that upsets me so, or excites me so, that I just need to talk about it. Yeah, and this is something that is the former. It upsets me so. And it is the release, or the coming release, of WWE 2K26 and its pricing. Yeah, if you looked at the pricing of it, and you thought, hey, that's fine, I don't mind paying $200 for what is essentially an update, then, you do you. Then, and just, click off this video, because it's obvious that I'm not going to, say any of the things that you want to hear. So, yeah. For those who want, somewhat of a constructed video, that's not going to happen here. I don't have any points that I'm reading off of. I'm just going off, again, my own emotional response. And just as a disclaimer, just so that everybody knows ahead of time, yes, I know that in a way I am somewhat part of the problem when it comes to the yearly releases of a wrestling game. Mainly because I'm using 2K23 and 2K24 as part of What's Up Wrestling. So, in that sense, I'll take my slap on the wrist, or slap in the face if that's how you prefer it. But in the sense that I'm endorsing paying for them, no. 2K23 I bought on a Black Friday sale. So that was down to 50% off, pretty much. I remember it wasn't super expensive, but it was cheap enough that I kind of, figured, why not? I can upgrade. And I know it was close to Black Friday because I used that time to generate enough roster for to make the change. After the following year's WrestleMania. And when it came to 2K24. That was actually given via the PlayStation Plus monthly releases. It was released, I believe, that following year's October. I want to say it was an apology release because they had also released Fight Forever. So, and that was basically a wrestling game made by people who thought that technology in wrestling was fine around SmackDown. Not even SmackDown versus Raw, just SmackDown. Not even SmackDown Here Comes the Pain or SmackDown 2. Just SmackDown. And yeah, so technically you could say that I paid for that, but it wasn't exactly I paid for my PlayStation Plus subscription just for that specifically. And then 2K25 actually came out on the PlayStation Plus catalog. It's not a monthly game. So when I downloaded it for my Royal Rumble video and then deleted it right after, because what the hell am I going to use it for? I can just download it again right now for whatever reason. I can't think of any reason, but I could. So, yes, while I did pay for 2K23, I did not have intentions to buy 2K24 or 25. So just wanted to point that out there. Just a little disclaimer. But yeah, let's just talk about 2K26, and two things that I want to focus on are the roster and the match types. I would talk about the arenas, but really all it is just color skins at this point. I'm not sure how WWE arenas now, but I know for the longest time there was complaints that they were just bland and uninteresting. Seriously, I think it was 2K24. You can just scroll through the arenas and everything just looks the exact same. You got your ring and you got your big screen. You got your ring and you got your big screen. You got your ring and you got your big screen. Nothing too inspiring there. And I'm pretty sure that's probably why they have the Attitude Era version of the game, because, you know, they wanted to be all like, hey, remember when people actually cared about arena makeup? So, yeah. So let's talk about the roster. And let's talk about the additions that the rosters can come in. Because one of my big problems about this is double paying for superstars. Superstars that you already paid for in previous titles. For instance, we have, let me just get this up here. We have for the Attitude Era edition, you have China. China's already in the game. I know this because China was actually a member of the council when it first began in West Up Wrestling. She was in for like one match. And then after that, you know, I just kind of replaced her with Queen Amazonia. So, yeah, in a way, you've already paid for China. So why are you paying for her again? And why are you paying, like, what is it? I think the Attitude Era edition is like the $170, $180 edition. I'm going by Canada prices, by the way. So when I say like $100 to $200, that's kind of what I mean. But at the same time, in the US or where have you, when you add in taxes, kind of the same thing when you think about it, or when you do it the math. Anyways, who else have we got in this exclusive edition? You got Kane. I've never been able to play as Kane before. Nope, in no wrestling game whatsoever have we been able to play as Kane from the 98 appearance. Nope, there was never any Warzone, there was never any Attitude, there was never any SmackDown games. Those games never existed. There's never any No Mercy, no WrestleMania, was No Mercy the good one on the GameCube? Whatever. There's no Raw on the Xbox. There is no SmackDown versus Raw. There's none of those. No, Kane. Kane's new. Get excited about that, you guys. And then The Rock. Holy hell, they got The Rock in here? Like, are you serious? Oh my god, let me pre-order the Attitude Era edition right now so I can play as The Rock. I mean, if I don't really play as The Rock, maybe I can use the Rock Bottom or the People's Elbow. Wow, those moves have never been in this game before. And you know, when you do the Rock taunt at the top of the turnbuckles, where you smell what the audience is cooking, or you take in their electricity, and you're like, ooh, yeah, that's awesome. And then, yeah, no. And then, of course, you have your King of Kings edition. Oh, shoot, that match ended quickly, didn't it? Hey, everybody, look, it's a Royal Rumble now, because that one should actually last a fair bit. I kind of thought that a 5-person match would actually take some time, but I guess not. Anyways, yeah, back to what I was talking about, the King of Kings edition. So we have Stephanie McMahon, 2000. What? She was never around? I mean, she's playable as an actual wrestler, but, you know, it's not like there's an actual wrestler of Stephanie McMahon already on the roster. And Triple H, 98. Wow. I mean, how many editions of Triple H do we have? Let's just scroll on down. Okay, so we have Triple H Standard Edition, where he's nice and bald and just kind of glaring. Triple H 08, because that's somehow different. Triple H 14, which is somehow different than his normal appearance. Not really. I mean, that's kind of when Triple H actually went bald. And then Triple H 98, obviously, and then Triple H 99, because there was such a difference between the two. Yes, Triple H 99 was when he started being in the game, but Triple H 98 and Triple H 99, aside from appearances, And then, of course, we have Shawn Michaels, who is just a tiny bit more egregious in the amount of versions that they have of him. They have the Standard Edition, which is him bald as a cue ball. I mean, not really. He's got some scruff. And he had that amazing match, you know, that tag team match. And then we have Shawn Michaels 2005, Shawn Michaels 94, Shawn Michaels 97, and Shawn Michaels DX. Because Shawn Michaels 97 and Shawn Michaels DX were totally different, right? No, of course not. Shawn Michaels wasn't in DX in 97. What are you, crazy? No, you got the Monday Night War edition. That's the big one. That's the $200 edition in order to get Shawn Michaels DX.
Scripps has been eliminated.
Oh, shut up. And then, of course, you got Macho Man and Roddy Piper. Honestly, I'm a bit surprised that they didn't just throw in the NWO as usual as well. Guys, I forgot to turn off the announcer volume. So, yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Not really, because again, you're paying for nothing. You're paying for minor alterations when it comes to the roster. And when you think about it, and we'll get back to this, does the roster really need a new game? Do these new superstars need a whole new game wrapped around them? Do you need to pay $100 to $200 for 23 new wrestlers, most of whom would be in NXT, and therefore, again, just released as DLC? It's not like they haven't figured out how to release superstars as DLC before. So I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, we'll get back to the roster. Let's look at the match types, because this is super special. So thus far, I don't know if they're going to be announcing anything else. I think by now they've announced everything that would be coming out to the game. I'm looking at all the stuff from the SmackDownHotel.com, by the way. I'll link them in the description. They're a good, reputable site, and I mean them no ill will, in that their excitement of the game is a bit. But I mean, they are like a news site for this kind of stuff, so it's fine. It's fine.
Nathan Frazier has been eliminated.
Who the hell even is that? Who cares? Anyways, 4 new match types. So you have the I Quit match, which is basically a submission match, just with microphone interactions, where your superstars will all sound the exact same, no matter what. Because I'm pretty sure that they're not going to give you the chance to have your own superstar voice, or they're going to be recording a bunch of superstars saying the words "I quit." I'm banking on it. It's just going to all sound generic as hell. Kind of like standard matches, where your characters grunt, and again, they all just sound the same. Women all sound just like beefed up. Just beefed up women. Even though if you're fighting with like smaller framed girls, they all sound the same. So again, I Quit matches, I don't think they're really going to be doing too much aside from just having the microphone animation. So that's worth $100, right? Inferno match, that's new, yes, but new to the 2K series. It's not exactly new in the scope of wrestling games. So, I mean, we can give it to them, but thus far you have mic animations and Inferno match, which isn't too much. This one is special to me. It's the 3 stages of hell, because there's no way you can have your own standard 3 stages of hell. It's exhibition match, exhibition match, exhibition match. There you go. There's nothing really different between it. Yeah, one of your superstars might be bleeding by the end of it, by the end of match 1, and match 2, they're okay. But outside of that, does it honestly really matter? Again, for that one bit of continuity. Yeah, continuity. Does it really matter? I think the only people for it that would matter to are those who actually record their matches and want them to look as professional as possible. The only issue is I don't know how many there are out there that do that, and as someone who does do that, I mean, I don't really strive to make them look as professional as possible. All I do is just add music. I don't really care. Like, if one superstar is bleeding, I'm not going to be all like, oh, how did he recover in between matches? No, it's just exhibition, exhibition, exhibition. So the 3 stages of hell is quite honestly the laziest addition they could make to any wrestling game, and that's something that really shouldn't be thrown into match types. And dumpster matches is just a rebranded casket match. Like, seriously, it's just a casket match with a dumpster. It's no change to its dynamic. It's just the casket looks different. So is all of this stuff, like the continuity of blood, the animation of moving a mic around, and actually, would they even have the mic, or would they just go, that's too much work? I don't know. I mean, I would not be surprised, because the image that they have for the I Quit match, there's no microphone. It's like, I think it's Roman Reigns. Pretty sure it's Roman Reigns. He's got John Cena in a camel clutch. That's not an I Quit match. That's a submission match. Do they not know the differences between a submission match and an I Quit match? Because I do. I Quit matches involve microphones. So, yeah, I mean, if they're selling the Attitude Era, they might as well have just shown like a moment from Royal Rumble '98 between the I Quit match of Rock and Mankind, or hell, Triple H is in charge. He'd be all like, I want it to be my match with Cactus Jack. Did they have an I Quit match? No, they had a street fight. They just mentioned the I Quit match from the year before. My apologies. See, this is why rants are like this. I'll just say whatever, and it can be easily proven wrong because I'm a bit of an idiot when it comes to certain things when I'm just saying them. But yeah, I Quit matches. That is not. So yeah, I Quit matches. Oh, will you shut up? Is not an I Quit match. It's a submission match. So just keep this in mind, that this is what they want you to pay for. The bare bones in terms of updates, because this is basically about it. Outside of that, and the Superstar Showcase, which is another copy paste, just a different superstar. Like, if you don't like CM Punk, and I know a lot of people don't, then why would you buy the game if this is going to be like the major selling point of it? So I don't know. And then there's something really else. So I don't want this video to be completely negative. So let's get to some egotistical stuff and say how I would do a wrestling game. And that is a single release per console's generation. Because you don't need anything more than that. Okay? You release it close to the beginning of a console generation's life, or maybe about a year or so after, because you got to give people time to actually go for it and for the console to actually land on its feet. Kind of make sure that it's actually going to be something that's worth the purchase, because right now it's a bit iffy, because I think they rushed them. But that's neither here nor there. That's not what we're here talking about. We're here talking about my wrestling game, which again, it's just called WWE Wrestling. We'll just go with that. And everything that I've talked about superstars, I've talked about match types, I've talked about superstar showcases. All of that can be DLC. In fact, superstars are already DLC. So, well, there's a good thing. So why are we just stopping when it comes to I don't know what I was saying. I was a bit distracted there. I was watching Enjoy Terrifying. Again, I'm just recording this as the match is going on, so that's why I'm commentating on things about it as well. So anyways, one wrestling game per console generation. Alright? All the superstars that come out afterwards, they're either released via DLC or updates. Every year around WrestleMania time, because that's when the games will come out, and that's when everybody is so focused on wrestling games, because afterwards you see it in the fact that the wrestling games immediately go on sale in April or late April, early May, that player counts dwindle, as in the case of any kind of wrestling event, or just in general. After WrestleMania, interest in it just kind of wanes. So yeah, right before WrestleMania, you would have the yearly update, which I would call the Superstar Shakeup, because we all got to double up our letters, and Triple H and SS. Just saying random things. The thing is that for the Superstar Shakeup update, would obviously be the Superstar Shakeup, which would be removing of certain superstars and adding others, announcing coming DLC, and introducing at least 1 or 2 new match types and 1 new superstar showcase. Because, you know, that's kind of what they're doing yearly anyway. So why not, right? And you may have recognized the fact that I did say removing of superstars. Obviously, as games are brought in, superstars come, they go. That's just the way of things because contracts expire, whether it be Hall of Fame or just contracts in general. And then, you know, they come back. Some of them will come back later on. And so, yeah. But this does not mean that you lose every aspect of a superstar. For instance, if Undertaker, there we go. He's in there. He's an example. If Undertaker were removed from the roster, I mean, he wouldn't be, but if he were, you would still have the Undertaker's entrance. You would still have the Undertaker's moveset. You would still have the Undertaker's as much of what are they doing? The Cactus Jack. As much of the Undertaker that the game can legally have, you know, on their copyrights and such, because, you know, certain superstars will copyright certain aspects about themselves, so certain things will not be available. And yes, Undertaker's moveset would be renamed. Yes, his entrance would be renamed, and perhaps even what imagery is allowed would be renamed, just for just to basically make it all, you know, fair, kosher, what have you. And this would also allow for creators to basically still create the superstars themselves and put them online. I mean, seriously, you know how many editions of like different superstars there are in the online menus? Just go on the online menus and look up any superstar. Well, I mean, any big name superstar, and you're going to find like pages upon pages of these superstars with various tweaks in between different creations. You know, people like creating superstars, even superstars that are on the roster, for crying out loud. They'll still create them. They'll still create them with their new yearly look, mainly because they just don't want to keep buying new games, or because they just want to have an updated roster look. And this is the best way of doing so. You know, so you update the roster with their appearances, you update the roster with its standings, you update all of that stuff. Now, this does get a bit tricky because, like I said, there would be DLC, and every year with the Superstar Shakeup, there would be superstars removed. So how do we talk about removing superstars that were at one point added via DLC, meaning removing things that people have paid for? And this is the bit of contention that I've been going back and forth on in my mind. And I can understand this being the most upsetting aspect of my version of the game. And the best outcome I could come up with that would save space within the roster is just by saying you still have the moveset, you still have the entrance, and you still have as much of the wardrobe as contractually possible. So, I mean, it's a tough pill to swallow. I'm understanding of that. But it's one of those things where it's just like the inevitable. And at the same time, I mean, that's kind of what these games are doing anyway. I've already talked about how they have you paying for superstars 2 more times. Like, how many times has the NWO been given out as DLC? I'm actually just going to look at this roster and see, just look at the DLC roster. Honestly, I'm going to glaze the SmackDown Hotel website. I do like the way that they have everything labeled out. You know, like the superstars are all labeled in individual ways. All right, so again, Kane, he is like a version exclusive, but you know, that's fine. Actually, you know what I should do, because they don't have the DLC just yet. I'm gonna look at the 2K25 DLC, and that's how we'll go by, because all their DLC will have come out. So let's see. Okay, so Billy Gunn was DLC. I think I'm pretty sure he was. Oh, Brock Lesnar DLC? Seriously? that doesn't make sense. Dexter Loomis, I mean, we just saw him in this Royal Rumble. Oh wait. Yeah, no, that's just the following game here. I was just wondering, like, what the hell did I pay for these DLC? No, I'm not paying on Ticket 25. Okay, and Elite. What the hell are Elite? Why do they look like toys? Why doesn't everybody look like toys? Honestly, that's a game that they should do. You remember when THQ just went absolutely nuts with some of their wrestling games? They just did whatever they wanted. Like, come on, 2K, just release a wrestling game that's like making everybody toys, and you've got like a toy ring and toy ladders, and it's like set up in a living room or like a bedroom or in the backyard or what have you. Just go nuts in that kind of feature, you know? Like, you've already shown an interest just by creating such characters. But anyways, let's continue on. Mark Henry as DLC. He was in other games, obviously. Road Dogg, yep. Oh, right, Shaquille O'Neal and their NBA tie-in. Yeah, that was a dumb DLC, wasn't it? And The Undertaker 90. Like, again, I am fairly certain that The Undertaker has had his appearances utilized in DLC time and time again. Nikki Bella, another one, they're labeling her as new. I don't really understand that. I mean, I guess new because she wasn't in 2K24, but she was definitely in 2K18 at the very least. You may have seen her and her sister Brie in a few tag team matches. In fact, I think they were even my tag team champions at some point. I know that because my brother didn't like them, and he pointed that out, so I stopped using them. See, you comment, and oh wow, Brie's not even here. But yeah, you see what's up with all of that. Like you're repaying for superstars that were in older games. Like Nikki Cross is a pre-order bonus. Nikki Cross has been in wrestling games since Nikki Cross was Nikki Cross. So again, like, you're already paying for superstars that they're just taking away from you if you're buying yearly editions from one year to the next. So I'm not saying, like, you know, that automatically means that you need to shut the hell up when it comes to my idea of how to handle updating and removing DLC stars, but I'm just saying you're kind of doing it already. So how is it any different? Like, you're even, like in my idea, you're even paying less. You know, like a season pass is what, like $60? Again, that's Canadian. I imagine that's like closer to 40 to 50 for, you know, American. And that's all the superstars of the year. I would have hoped so. And in this version, you're paying like $100 to $200 for less, because again, on top of that, you're again paying for the season pass. You're again paying for these superstars that you've already paid for.
Boss has been eliminated.
It just doesn't make any sense to me. And what bothers me the most is I'm looking at the PlayStation pre-order list, and you know, like one of the options is to that's Void Mange. Learn his name, damn it. And the pre-order page, you can order it out by like most popular or what have you. And the most popular version of 2K26 going is the $200 one. Like, why? You know, like this is my other issue when it comes to wrestling games. It's something that was pointed out to me on a forum like years and years ago. This is back when every game or every console had like their own. I think either every console had like their own gaming series, or it was just in the original years of like the WWE or the SmackDown versus Raw series. Every year, like clockwork, right before a game was released, people on said forum would get excited about that game's release. They would talk about it, they would discuss new news about it, because, you know, not we didn't really have sites like SmackDown Hotel as big as it was. It was around back then, but it wasn't as big as it is now. You know, it wasn't like your one-stop shop for everything new wrestling game related. And someone asked, because people on the forum, I think I was in the conversation as well, were already talking about the following year's release, on what they would expect, because by then everything was already known about that year's release. And they're like, wow, you guys are already talking about next year's? And somebody responded with this, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't have the comment in front of me, but their comment essentially went, this is how the timeline goes for wrestling fans and their games. Before the game is released, people get excited. When the game is released, they play it like crazy. They are playing it like daily. They are playing it hourly. They are showing off their superstars. They're giving off superstar formulas, because it was back before online shareability and all that other stuff. And then about a month or 2 months later, talk about it would stop, because interest in that game would wane, because you've already done a fair bit of it. You've already explored the new stuff, and you already created the superstars that you want to create. You're just at that point slowly generating up your roster, or in some cases regenerating up your roster, which is a bit demoralizing when you realize that after a year you have to recreate all 50 or so superstars, at least in these games. But yeah, and then after that, interest would wane interest would build, in the following year's game. And that seems to be the case of current wrestling games. And to me, that's sort of why they're released around WrestleMania now, because that's the high point of wrestling's popularity. Is, you know, between is All In like at the end of December? I've never actually figured that out. Let me just look that up. AEW All In. I want to say that is in December. Or is it All Out? I can't remember. What is it Forbidden Door? One series is their biggest show, and I'm fairly certain that they follow the WCW model of having it in December. I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, apologies, because I'm not really in the know as far as AEW, and I'm pretty sure that AEW fans wouldn't really care too much about a WWE game. Well, maybe they do now, because their AEW game hasn't been around or relevant for a while, and they haven't had one in a while. But anyways, WrestleMania is about this time where wrestling is at its peak level of interest, because you have the Royal Rumble, and you have whatever, usually it's the Elimination Chamber, and then you have WrestleMania. But then following that, interest in wrestling wanes, because it's the big event. Everyone's kind of had their huge gasp, and they're like, okay, we're pretty much done here. Let's move on. And yeah, so they do, and so does popularity within the game, because that's when the game starts going on sale, because no one's really buying the game fresh anymore, no one's really playing it anymore, so they just kind of do what they do. So again, why would you pay $200 for something that's just going to sit there and you're not going to play, outside of maybe creating a superstar once a month or twice a month, or looking into it maybe even once every 2 months, or just to see what's going on online? I don't know, maybe there are people out there who feel like they get their money's worth because they do the island, or they do their superstar cards, or whatever the hell it is. But again, I'm just saying, the popularity wanes in the most case, and whatever. I don't know. Anyways, you've heard what I've said about the game. You've heard about my own edition of what I think the game could bring, and it's just upsetting that they just keep releasing it yearly, and they just don't do anything about it, and it freaking pisses me off. There you go. See, I've brought everything together. So Seth Rollins goes to WrestleMania with a much better outcome, at least compared to Roman Reigns. That's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. Again, I apologize if this has not been comprehensive in the least. Like I said, this is a rant. I'm not going by any points. I'm just talking. So, again, if you want like me to do something a little more detailed in my thoughts, then let me know, or just smash that hate button. I know you want to. Go on and do it. Let the hate flow through you. Or you can, leave a comment if you don't like the video. Let me know why. That's something. Like, if you... I'm just going to give you a little YouTube secret. There's no point in me caring whether you hit the thumbs down button unless you tell me why. If you have the energy to do that, then you have the energy to... or whatever. I don't know. I'm just kind of tired. So, that's it. Thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you all next time. Bye, everybody.